Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Alien Spartan 117, and today we are going to be discussing an idea for a future Halo title that I've had and I would like to share with you guys and get your opinions. So, as many of us know now, we've been following the Halo universe as it has progressed, starting in 2552 with Halo 1. We have had prequels, we've had sequels, and we have watched the main Halo trilogies develop. But most of them, with the exception of Halo Wars, has taken place between the years 2552 and 2559. That has been pretty much the inner time frame. That's the time frame Halo 6 will be going into most likely. And though that has pretty much been the decade that all of the media games that the Halo franchise has produced has taken place in. But I've got an idea that I'd like to share with you guys. What would be your opinion on a Halo game based in the Forerunner era? We're talking somewhere along the lines of anywhere really. You could go with somewhere around 110,000 BCE, and it could take place between humans and Forerunners, and obviously you'd have the entire threat of the flood coming down upon you as you're doing this. You could play as a human or maybe even a Forerunner, or you could go around 100,000 BC before the rings actually fired, battling against the flood. You're a Forerunner on your last leg trying to defeat the takeover of the entire galaxy by the flood. There are so many different areas that this sort of game could take place in. We could have major characters in it from this time period, such as the Lord of Admirals, such as the Diadact, such as Chakas and Razer, that would really be able to flesh out. I'm not saying that this video game should go directly with the books, but it should take place in this period and in these events. It would be something that I feel would really flesh out the Forerunner era for the Halo universe. Now, one thing about this is you would have to think it'd be almost like a totally different game. There is no UNSC, there is no Spartans, there is no Covenant. So that means most of the sandbox weapons that we use, like Battle Rifle, Assault Rifle, Magnum, Covenant Carbine, Needler, none of that exists yet. The only weapons that could possibly exist in this time frame would be Promethean weapons. So obviously for a video game like this to exist, you'd have to expand upon greatly the current Halo sandbox, full of Forerunner weapons, maybe even some ancient human weapons. But anyway, multiple things could be done to build upon this. Second off is no Master Chief and no Spartans. It would be a big adjustment for pretty much the entire Halo community to take to have such a game as this, because pretty much everything we know about Halo wouldn't be in this Halo, because it has taken place over 100,000 years before the events we are familiar with. But I feel that this would be a great game that could set up an epic story and follow a story that doesn't just affect the UNSC or the Covenant, but the entire galaxy itself. We could watch the early roots of Halo as we know it being laid over 100,000 years before they take place. We could see the librarian lay in her seeds that would eventually lead to being John 117. We could see the Diadact and his rage grow with each installment, because they could possibly turn this into a trilogy. We could watch the human empire slowly being demolished until their final defeat at Charum Hakor. This is so many different possibilities that could take place for a game such as this that I feel would be a great way for the Halo franchise to really flesh out itself and its past. I'm not saying this should be a full-fledged title. It could feature multiplayer. It could be a standalone campaign game. Heck, I'm not even saying this would be a first-person shooter, but it's an idea that I feel could really flesh out Halo as a whole, because we would get to see all these events take place, and it would almost be like Mass Effect in a way. It'd be a completely, totally different game than we're used to. And in a way, it could revamp the franchise. It could help the franchise out a new and bold direction. It could give us new characters to fall in love with. It could give us new places to explore, and new environments to give us that bone-tingling shiver that we felt at the beginning of Halo 1. There are so many possibilities if they were to actually produce a game in this time period, as long as they done it right. And doing it right would be the problem, because we would not want to see a game that